Over on my Patreon page, I have a cool reward where you could basically pick a video that I have to do. You give me a topic and I make a video on it. Yes, I have a Patreon. If you didn't know that, you should check it out. All the cool kids are doing it. Wink, wink. I'm not a very good winker. Anyways, the first of these topic videos is coming to us with a topic from Danny. Danny is a cool chick. I've known her she's supported the channel for quite a while actually. She also has a YouTube channel. Make sure you go show her some love. I'll put the link in the description box down below. But Danny wanted to know my top 5 video game crushes. And originally I answered this in a Patreon Q&A, but I thought it would be, better if I actually fleshed it out more and thought about it. I kind of just went off with, characters I thought off the top of my head. But I thought it'd be better if I did it for like specific games as well because, I haven't played every game in every series ever. So I thought it would be better if I, narrowed it down a bit so you can know where the crush started, how old I was and what game was it that inspired this crush. Now, fair warning, there will be some celebrating of women's beauty. Some people call it objectifying. I probably will talk about boobs and butts some. So, if you're not into that kind of stuff, you can click away. I got other videos you can watch. But without any further ado, let's get into this list. The top 5 female video game crushes of RGT 85. So my number 5 pick is going to be not really set the precedent for this list because it's sort of an oddball pick. I highly doubt this character is on anyone else's list, but like I said, I'm doing it from specific games and specific time frames in my life. And 12-year-old RGT rented a game called Tobal No. 1 and fell in love with one of the characters. And looking back on it, she looks a lot like Dog the Bounty Hunter's wife. And it's a really weird crush, but I guess I don't know what it was about her, but like still to this day, like I still think she's hot. And that is Mary from Tobal No. 1. I know nothing about the character. I can't remember anything about her backstory. I just remember like I was obsessed with her. Like I thought she was so hot. And I guess like that was like my introduction to like thicker women and stuff. And she just had these huge massive boobs and this, blonde hair that was like a mullet. And she's not really that attractive to look at now, but like when I was 12, dude, like that was it for me. Like I thought she was so hot and I just thought she was the greatest thing ever. So I'm sorry I can't really give you much backstory on the character, and this isn't one of those, women empowerment sort of characters, but Mary, Tobal No. 1, definitely my number 5 pick. Coming in at number 4 is Chun-Li from, pick a Street Fighter 2. Basically, I was introduced to the character Chun-Li when I first played Street Fighter 2. I was probably 8 or 9, and my biological dad came to visit us down in the South, and he was staying at a hotel, and that hotel had an arcade cabinet, and I want to say it was Super Street Fighter 2 that was there. I could be wrong, but that was when I was introduced to Chun-Li, and I really gravitated towards the character because I really liked playing as her. She has awesome moves, a really solid move set. She's kind of that combination. She's like a Ryu character, but a little bit faster, and I really like, her moves and her combos and whatnot. And, she was very attractive as well. As a white kid, 9, 10 years old, I wasn't really exposed to that many Asian women, but that's sort of when I realized I was like, yo, I like Asian women. And yeah, really cool character too. Tough, badass. You ain't messing with her. And I really sort of grew that crush more on on Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition on the Sega Genesis. That was the version I had as I was a Genesis kid. And Chun-Li, just a great character to play as, and a very attractive female. Number 3 is also going to be a bit of a throwback. I think if you were a young teenager, late 10, early 13, this was on your list. She was the awesomeness. She was hot. She was great. Lara Croft. Lara Croft, 1996, I guess, on the Sega Saturn. That was the version I had, so I must have been 11 or 12 at the time. And wow, I just loved her character. Obviously the first thing everyone noticed was the sexualization of her. She was a highly sexual character back in the day. Like that was almost, it's kind of interesting when you think about it because there wasn't that many, strong female characters in games. You obviously had Samus, who we're going to talk about obviously in a little bit. But besides that, there wasn't, a heroine that was a strong female character. And besides being, you know, attractive and busty and all that, she was legit, like, you know, dual wielding guns and taking out, you know, animals and bad guys and stuff in that sort of Indiana Jones style game. She was definitely legit. And, you know, it's kind of a shame how the series basically was based on her sexual, you know, her sexualness for a while. I'm glad they've sort of changed that. But when I was a kid, dude, like that was the tops for me. You know, she was the best. She was awesome. She was hot, and she was a badass. So Lara Croft, circa the original Tomb Raider, definitely my number 3 pick. Number two. I actually bounced back and forth between number 2 and number 1 a lot. That sounded really immature, but it was kind of hard for me to pick. And I ended up going with Samus as number 2, Metroid Other M. And that may be an interesting, you know, decision because obviously Metroid Other M was met with a bit of, you know, indifference when it comes to critical reception. Some people love the game, some people not so much. But I really liked that game and the representation of Samus because it humanized her. You know, all of the games that we had played previously, the original Metroid, when you found out that you were playing as a female character, Super Metroid, the Metroid Prime series, there was never really anything to humanize her. You know, you knew she was a human, you knew a little bit about her backstory, but there wasn't anything beyond that. You know, it really just came down to people's fan fiction to sort of more humanize and give this character emotions and whatnot. And Metroid Other M brought about those emotions and brought about, you know, her as a person. Whether you agree or disagree with the direction that Tecmo took her in, you can't say that it wasn't a great character. You can't say that it wasn't someone you could feel, you know, a connection with, and a gorgeous character, of course. I mean, she looked amazing in that game. So Samus from Other M, a very underrated female character in my opinion. I really enjoyed her in that game, and definitely my number 2 crush. You know, those early 20s, I was like, yo, I need a chick like Samus. So definitely Samus. And number one. We're gonna have to go with Metal Gear Solid 3 and Eva. I mean, let's look at some things here. Eva was an amazing character. First and foremost, she was a badass. She would take a motorcycle and run it up your body and do a backflip, shoot you, infiltrate the KGB or, you know, Khrushchev's people, and just awesome character. Just an awesome character. That perfect balance. You know, a lot of people feel like, you know, women are overly sexualized in games, and they probably are to some extent. But I think Eva was that perfect balance of, you know, sexualization for the dudes, but a lot of empowerment as well, because she was a super strong character. I mean, she was just amazing. I loved her from the second I met her. And it's kind of weird because my top 2 picks are both, you know, blonde, and in real life I'm more attracted to brunettes. But I don't know, something about Eva, just the way she talked, the way she moved, the way she was able to, you know, get her way. And, you know, that's how you could tell she was a strong chick, because she knew that if she used her body, she could get anything she wanted. She could get in as deep as she wanted into any, you know, sort of, you know, mystery and whatnot, and infiltrate armies and still come out and be like, oh, I'll kick your ass too. So Eva, number 1, Metal Gear Solid 3. I remember falling in love with that character, originally playing that game, and still just my favorite female character of all time for sure. So that is my list of video game crushes. I'd like to thank Danny once again for giving me this list. I had a fun time, you know, basically reminiscing and thinking about different periods of my life and different video game women that I just fell in love with. And, you know, I guess it sort of shaped me, you know, as to what sort of female characters I liked as well. So Danny, I'd like to thank you for this list. Make sure you check out her channel. Like I said, I do this, I'm going to be doing this regularly now. This is a new tier on Patreon. So if you're interested, check out my Patreon. If not, no big deal. Make sure you like the video. Leave me your top 5 video game crushes in the comments down below. Male, female, I guess characters, you know, maybe you got a thing for Toe Jam and Earl. That's cool. Just let me know in the comments down below. We'll talk about it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.
RGT 85. RGT 85. RGT 85.